Hey guys, how's it going? Wow, huge news for Village Farms today. Stock is soaring. It's up over 20% right now. So the question is, why are we seeing this huge jump in Village Farms right now? If you guys weren't aware, if you haven't been to my channel before, you're not a subscriber, I've already done a video on this stock. It kind of gives a little bit more of a background of the company, why I think it's such an amazing buy. I'll put a link in the right-hand corner right there right now. I'll also put a link in the description down below. It's called This Pot Stock Could Make You Rich. But anyway, so the news that came out today, let's take a look at what actually drove the stock. So we see Village Farm International announces filing of application to list its common shares on the NASDAQ. And also, conversion of all growing area at Pure Sun Farms, which is 1.1 million square feet greenhouse, is completed and awaiting Healthcare Canada review. So this is massive news. I was not expecting this. The article goes on to say, Village Farms International today announced that it has filed an application to list its common shares on NASDAQ Capital Market under the symbol of VFF. Of course, this is the same symbol that we're seeing on the TSX in Canada. As a company with substantive U.S. assets and operations, and with our recently announced intention to aggressively pursue potential opportunities in the now federal legal U.S. hemp and CBD industry, the listing of our common shares on NASDAQ is intended to provide broader exposure to and greater liquidity for U.S. investors, said Michael D'Angelo. I don't even know how to say his name. He's the CEO. A NASDAQ listing will provide Village Farms with the access to the largest equity market in the world to support our intended hemp and CBD growth strategy should U.S. state laws follow the U.S. federal decision to legalize hemp, as well as potentially for cannabis in the event that it is federally legalized in the U.S. So this is massive news. If you've been listening to what the CEO has been saying before, they've been really massively pushing into the CBD and hemp market, as well as selling cannabis, medical marijuana in Canada here, but they have a very good strategic area in the States. They have this huge Texas facility that, like he says here, if the states tend to follow suit, this could be massive for the stock. So what's been actually going on here is they've been converting all this. There's brand new news, and now they're going to be listed on the U.S. exchange. Now, this is, like I said, this is something that I was not expecting that would happen, the NASDAQ, right? This gives a huge validity to, it gives huge validity to the company, and now it actually opens it up more to the U.S. Because right now it's on the pink sheets, I think, in the United States. But now, many more U.S. investors are going to be interested. Before, they might say, oh, this is a Canadian stock, or, they're not so much interested into it. They don't have, they don't have the exposure to get into it. I don't think U.S. investors for sure are as likely to invest in Canadian equities as Canadian investors are to invest in U.S. equities. And this just shows you, it's another avenue for them to make money as well, but it just shows their strategic vision of what's happening and what they think could happen. So, massive news. That's the reason that the stock is up so much today. But another thing I wanted to mention to you guys is EPS, earnings per share. So I still haven't made a video on this, but I'm going to give you guys some more tools on this as well. But there's many different analyst estimates out there. Like in my last video, I think I gave the figure of $100 million or something like that to show how ridiculously cheap Village Farm is compared to its competitors. But now we're actually seeing some analysts come out with some numbers, which are, I think, very reasonable in some cases. Let's take a look here right now. So this is just one source that I found here. So we have like an average estimate of 28 cents per share, a low estimate of 25 cents per share, and a high estimate of 30 cents per share. So it's just very simple math. I haven't done a video for you guys on this yet to look at what kind of multiple these companies will be trading at. But the low estimate was around 25 cents per share. And the high estimate, I've actually heard now, one around 33 cents per share. So even at the low estimate, it's trading at like 24 times earnings, right? And, at the kind of the average 20 times earnings. Now, we're in this very competitive, very hot pot stock, phase still, even though a lot of the companies have pulled back a little bit. That is dirt cheap, right? So I wanted to bring, that to your guys' attention, just to give you an idea of, is this price over value? Where is it, where is it at? So let's take another look at this article here, what it's talking about. So this talks about the actual conversion of what's been going on, and I think this might be a little bit overlooked as something that's very important in this news release, other than just the fact that it's going to be potentially listed on the NASDAQ. It goes on to say here, Village Farms also announced that its Canadian cannabis joint venture, Pure Sunfarms, has completed conversion of all the growing area in the fourth and final quadrant of its 1.1 million square foot greenhouse facility in Delta, British Columbia. Again, if you're not too aware of this kind of stuff, watch my last video. I go into that and explain it a bit more. It continues on here. The fourth quadrant, totaling approximately 206,000 square feet of growing area, along with approximately 138,000 square feet of growing area in the third quadrant, conversion of which was completed in 2018, are currently under review by Health Canada in respect of amendment of Pure Sunfarms cultivation license, which will, in aggregate, expand Pure Sunfarms' permitted production area by approximately 344,000 square feet to just over 1.03 million square feet, with the remaining approximately 69,000 square feet of the 1.1 million square foot facility currently in the process of being converted for extraction activities. Pure Sunfarms plans to put the approximately 34,000 square feet of greenhouse currently under review by Health Canada into production as soon as Health Canada's review is completed and its cultivation license is amended. So the CEO goes on to say, it is a tremendous accomplishment to not only have completed conversion of more than 1 million feet of square greenhouse for cannabis production in just over a year, but also to have simultaneously ramped up production while that conversion was ongoing. And I would like to acknowledge the Pure Sun Life management team for their tireless efforts towards this achievement. So the CEO says that. We continue to be very pleased with the performance of that part of Pure Sunfarms facility currently in production, and look forward to further expanding production to the entirety of the 1.1 million square feet facility as soon as permitted. So again, I mean, a lot of people that have been following Village Farms are aware of that, but that's huge. Like I said in my last video, they have the capacity to, like, the estimated demand by 2020, they have the capacity potentially here soon to fill like half of that, maybe even more. A lot of the other pot companies, or like pot stocks, even the really hot ones, are having a very difficult time, and Village Farms is actually selling to them. So right now we're not really seeing a lot like on the income statement or anything like that, right? But when they actually get this approved, like it says here, we're waiting on Health Canada here. Oh, this could be huge, seeing the numbers that are coming in. So, what are my thoughts on this? I think this is, massive news. I think just the fact that it's going to be on the US exchange, like I said, is going to drive the stock. But it doesn't change my position that I think it's a bit, it's a bit speculative, but I think you should be in this space. It's a difficult equity for me to be in because this channel is value venture investing. It's, value investing. It's really difficult to get an idea of that in the early times, but I think that there's room for this in somebody's portfolio. Looking at the technicals here, like I said to you guys before, I'm no technical analyst, but it's kind of interesting to see that it seems to be breaking just above the moving average here. This is the 50-day moving average. The RSI is at 54. It's not like extremely overbought or anything like that. And looking at the Bollinger Bands, which have never been really indicative to me, but you can see the upper limit at about $7.72 dollars there. So I could see that it could potentially hit that pretty soon. But these kind of big moves, you never like to chase them, right? So I'm not going to be adding to my position. Like I said to you guys before, I do have a position in this, but I'm not going to be chasing this. It could pull back a little bit, but this just gives it, more validity to the premise that this could be huge. This could be a huge opportunity for a lot of different people. So don't go overboard. These are just my recommendations, right? I wouldn't go overboard. I wouldn't jump into this too much, but definitely the CEO is following through with their plan. Now they're trying to, go into the U.S. more. They're going to get more, obviously, cash and money for this, right? Duly listing here. So it's going to help the company expand a lot more. So anyway, that's going to be it for today, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.